Hello, and welcome to another episode of Business and Beyond's Feature Friday. I have an amazing guest today that I'm so excited about. Her name is Ashley Miller. She is a key figure and officer at Miller and Sons Plumbing, a family-owned and operated plumbing company based in Ocala, Florida. As the co-founder with her husband, CJ Miller, they established the business in 2016 and have built it into a multi-million-dollar company. Ashley is also a mother to 3 boys, a homeschooler, and a homesteader. She plays a vital role in the company's operations and strategic direction. Her formal position and active involvement in community leadership, including the Ocala Metro Chamber and Economic Partnership, underscore her significant contribution to the growth and identity of this trusted local enterprise. Ashley, welcome. Thank you so much for joining me today.
I'm excited.
So can you give us a little bit of an overview of what your business does and why you got into it?
Of course. So we are a plumbing company. So as you guessed it, we do plumbing. We do everything from commercial, residential, from faucets all the way to commercial jetting, backflows, all the fun stuff. And we started, so my husband has been doing plumbing since he was 15. His father owns a plumbing company down south. His uncle owned one, his grandfather owned one. So naturally, he became a plumber. And in 2016, he decided he wanted to do his own thing. So we started Miller and Sons Plumbing.
That's fantastic. And so it is a family owned and operated business.
Yes, CJ and I are 100% the owners. The sons are our 3 sons. So they're not quite old enough for plumbing, but so we are a first generation of Miller and Sons Plumbing.
And I love it. From the beginning, Miller and Sons, you have the vision of having this as a multi-generational company.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the hope. We started it when we had 2 boys. And so, well, actually, we started it when we had 1 boy and was pregnant with the second one. And then obviously the third one came along. So God had a plan and said, we don't need any daughters in there. We've got the sons.
So can you tell me, what is the biggest problem that you see in your industry? And more specifically, how are you solving that issue?
I think I wouldn't necessarily call it a problem, but when you look at Florida and the amount of entrepreneurship, there are so many companies that do the same thing. So I think standing out is probably the most vital and complicated because as a consumer, you Google plumber near me and at least 40 are showing up that you can choose from. So the biggest challenge I think for us is just standing out and making sure that our branding obviously is on point and people can find us easily. That I think that's probably the biggest. I don't want to call it a problem because it's great that there's so many other businesses and entrepreneurs and all of that, but it's probably our biggest hurdle is standing out amongst the crowd.
Every business has challenges. And I think you've touched on something that is very important. There's so much competition. I don't care what industry you're in, I don't care what kind of business you're in. There's always competition, and there's always this challenge of standing out and being unique. Why should someone choose your company over someone else's? So, how are you overcoming that challenge? What are you doing specifically to say, hey, I'm your go-to?
Yeah. So first was branding. I don't think I could possibly emphasize how important branding is. And that's not just I have a logo. It's branding with your morals, your values, consistency. Obviously, your marketing takes effect. So your logo, your colors, your social media, your website, everything has to be so branded that it's burned into someone's brain. It's almost like subliminal messaging. So when they think I need a plumber, they already know us because they've seen us 1,000 times and it's just in their face. So that is probably my number one is branding. And then I guess, wow, I just lost my train of thought.
That.
That's hard. So yeah, branding obviously is the number one way that we've kind of worked that in. And then obviously standing behind, I was saying like morals and values. standing behind those. So when people know that they're going to call us, they know that we have integrity. They can see it over our Google reviews. We are by far not perfect. I am not that company that's going to say, we'll never make a mistake. We're perfect, because that's not realistic. So our Google reviews are probably the second way that we have really pushed our company. I think we have over 1900 at this point. We hold a 4.9 star rating, and that's not because we pay for reviews. It's not because they're fake. Nothing. Everything is valid. I will fight Google to the death to make sure my reviews stay up and they're validated. But they're obviously a reflection of our clients and how they feel about us. And we make mistakes. Our employees make mistakes, and we keep integrity behind that. So at least they know when they're looking for a plumbing company, they can see the reviews, they can read them, they can read our responses, and they can know at least this company has integrity. So if I call them and there's a human error made, we're going to stand behind it. It took a lot to build that brand between our, our colors, our logo, our company name, in addition to our morals and values. So I think that's probably the biggest way that we have pushed to stand out. And then obviously doing good work and offering all the services that are needed.
So this is insane, because we have only been on this podcast for a couple of minutes and you have already dropped so many golden nuggets. It's amazing. From first is look at your company long term, right? That's why the brand Miller and Sons, you want it to be a multi-generational company. So you opened it with the future in mind, and that's imperative, right? The second one you were talking about is branding, so that everybody knows who you are. And that is also imperative. That's how you stand out from the crowd. And you're doing an amazing job with that, because I can always know who Miller and Sons is with your logo, with your colors. I see you guys all over Ocala and all over social media. So that's fantastic. Third, you're talking about integrity. It is we're all human beings. We all make mistakes, and it's okay. And I love the fact that you said, yeah, we will make mistakes and we stand behind it. We will fix it. We're not going to just say, oh no, we're perfect, and not stand behind our product, or tell people that you're perfect and then human mistakes and human errors happen, right? And then the fourth thing already, Google reviews. You have 1900 reviews, and that alone is going to help your branding. It's going to help your marketing. It's going to help your trustworthiness, right? And get people to come and get you. So all of these things in such a short amount of time, I would like to unpack a little bit, at least just the Google reviews, because you said they're all vetted, and Google can vet all of them and see that they are true reviews. They're not paid for, they're organic. How did you get those reviews?
So it's a struggle constantly. Number one, we asked. And what's funny is when we first started the business, I mean, Google reviews wasn't really that's a business term. Like, you don't think about getting Google reviews as a consumer. And so when we first started looking, a lot of like these marketing, sites on Google, are like, don't ask for Google reviews unless like it's 100% positive and you're going to get a positive review, because they're hard to, you can't, if you get a negative review, you can't get it taken down unless it's fraudulent. And even then, Google's really difficult about doing that. And so I was like, well, I don't plan on doing the wrong thing, so I'm going to ask. So every single customer receives some type of notification, depending on how your CRM is set up, and they get a request for a review. And most of the time, I mean, obviously 4.9 stars out of 1900, they're 98% of the time positive reviews. But what's amazing about Google reviews is because sometimes people won't call and say, I had a negative experience. They don't want to either want the confrontation, they are embarrassed, they are mad, whatever the case is, or they think you're not going to help them. And so why are they even going to call? And so those negative reviews at least give us a chance to be like, oh no, something's wrong, and deal with it. So yes, it builds your Google presence, but it helps your business. It's the perfect criticism. Now, you do get a couple of those that you're like, oh my goodness gracious, you can't be pleased. But there's nothing you can do about that. All you can do is reply professionally and lovely, and the next person's going to read it and they're going to see, okay, this is a review, this is how they responded. I can work with them. Like, they clearly care enough to respond to this client professionally and not, well, go where the sun don't shine. So so Google reviews are fantastic for just brand building, for awareness of what's going on in the field, because we don't have, 3 guys in the field. I've got 25. So I don't know what's going on every single minute of the day, and I would love to have feedback from every single customer so I know what's going on, but I can't always get that. So unfortunately, if it's a negative experience and they put it on Google, at least I have the chance to fix it, make it right. And honestly, a lot of the times they end up knowing, okay, wow, this company stands behind it. We fix the issue. I never ask them to change the review. It's not, they have a negative experience, we respond to it, we deal with it. And if they go back and change it, that's just a blessing. If not, at least we responded with, hey, I'm so glad we could fix this. Thank you so much for letting us know. And I put the outcome on there. But a lot of the times they change it. They'll change it to a 5-star review, and then it's just a positive experience at the end. So they're so vital. So vital.
And more crystal diamond nuggets. Don't be afraid of the reviews. Ask for them. And if they are negative, use them as an opportunity to be better and to do better and to reach out to those clients and see how you can fix that issue. Because as Ashley just said, a lot of clients will not complain because they don't want the confrontation, they don't want to be a pain, whatever the case might be, but they'll go on Google and give you a bad review. So instead of getting bent, and why didn't they come to us first? Why wouldn't they give us an opportunity to cure first? You just go out and you fix it. And you say, thank you for letting us know that there was an issue. And I love that perspective. It doesn't matter how they let you know, as long as they let you know and give you the opportunity to cure it. And I do think the fact that you're using those negative reviews as a way to make it right helps.
Yeah.
Right? It helps with credibility. It helps with exposure. It helps with having people know, like, and trust you because they see what it is that you're doing.
Yeah. Even if you lose that client, which is unfortunate, but sometimes it happens. If you lose that client, at least other people can see how you respond. And the thing about being in this type of industry, I mean, you're talking electrical, HVAC, landscaping, whatever the case is, most of the time the business starter is a tradesman, and there's no offense to what I'm about to say, but 9 times out of 10, they don't like to deal with this aspect of things. And so it's not that everyone needs, a wife or an assistant or whatever the case is. You can literally go on Chat GPT and copy the review, put it in Chat GPT and say, okay, this client said this. I fixed it this way. Write me a professional review. And then they'll write it and then you post it. So you don't have to be this top star like customer service professional to respond professionally so other people can read it. There's so much technology nowadays that you can just have it put in there for you, and at least you can respond professionally and you're still responding, you're still fixing it. Because I see that a lot of tradesmen owners or trades professional owners will respond to these reviews and I'm like, oh my gosh, you just lost that client and anyone else that's going to read that review. Don't do that, please. But
one more nugget. I mean, this is amazing. Every time you open your mouth, you're giving me business nuggets that are golden. And this is why I was so excited about having you on the show. And that nugget was use AI. Right?
yeah.
You don't have to know the exact response and everything yourself. You can utilize AI, other people. You can ask for help to be able to do things properly. I love it. So now that we've talked about some challenges that you've had in the business, which is the standing out and being unique and basically getting clients, and we've touched on so many of those aspects, right? The marketing, the branding, the reviews, doing the right thing and standing behind your product. what are some things that are actually working well, and how did you get them to work?
Hmm. So what do you mean as far as that? Like there's so many things. Like like are you talking like software? Are you talking procedures? Are you talking brand? Like what are
Well, what are some of the things that are working in your company?
Okay, so I feel like our chain of command works really well, and that's probably the military in me. But when we started growing, like obviously it was CJ and I and like a guy, so it was fine. Like you just report to us. But now we have 25, 26 people right now working for us, and so we instilled a chain of command that no matter it's not necessarily the person, it's a position. And so for example, like we have our dispatchers. I'm acting as like an office manager, so I'm like I kind of sit in two different weird places. But so the girls know that if they have a plumbing related question, they go straight to the service manager. There's no go to Ashley and then Ashley goes to the service manager. They go straight to the service manager. If the service manager has a question, he goes straight to the general manager, and then the general manager comes to us. If it's an office question, it goes to the office manager, which is me, and then it goes up the scale. Luckily for them, they don't have to go to the owners because I'm already sitting here. But the chain of command I think was so vital, because what we've always had a chain of command, but it's always just been very limited. But probably I want to say about 3 years ago, we had substantial growth in employment. And so it was, CJ and I, and then our general manager, who was kind of acting as service and general. But we had a lot of guys under him. And so we saw the strenuousness. And in a small business, everyone kind of wears multiple hats. But defining those roles really helped. So we were able to put a service manager. So we have our guys, and then they report to the service manager. And so the general manager is not overwhelmed with everybody. It goes to the service manager, and you just kind of funnel as needed and depending on what it is. So I think that's definitely it helped me a lot, because when I moved up here in the office position, the girls would ask me questions constantly. Not that I don't have an open door, but it makes it impossible to get stuff done sometimes. So giving them a clear direction of how they're going to get their answer was so vital. So they've got, 3 managers, and if it's a sales or estimating question, they go directly to him. If it's a service related question, they go to him. If it's an office related question, they come to me. So it just made it really easy. It limited, one person being burdened. So I think that was probably the biggest structure that we put in place to really define that. And you can do that with 5 people in a business. It shouldn't always go to the head person on top. Put someone in charge of something, even if you have 3 field guys, and then a shop person and an office person. If the guys have a question about parts, they go to the shop person. They don't call everything on to the dispatcher. You can find ways to delegate responsibilities.
Okay. Again, here we go. Processes and procedures, right? And I'm assuming you gave everybody in the business a list of who to go to for what. And as you said, it is not a person, it is the position, right?
Yeah. Everyone has a very clear defined, direction of what they have and where they go to. And our CRM helps a lot with that too. So if they have a question on something, for example, if they need another appointment, they go through our software, and the software notifies the proper person. So if they have a request for an appointment, it goes to the office. If they have a request for parts, it goes to the shop. So it's not even necessarily phone interaction or physical interaction. It's through our software, through everything. It's kind of defined stuff. And then the other thing, procedure wise, that we do, I have this like, giant checklist, because I love checklists, are my favorite thing. But everyone has like a checklist, and it's not like a person. It's so for example, we have a clerical checklist, and so I have 3 dispatchers that are in the office, and then myself. And so I have this checklist, and I don't necessarily care who does the checklist, but they know that they're all responsible for the checklist. So these are all the things that I used to do, and now they go on this checklist, and then the office staff has them. And I have one person that's kind of responsible for overseeing, like one of my girls is responsible for permitting, but that doesn't mean she's doing permitting. It just means when I come in and check if the permitting's done, I'm asking her, and that's her responsibility. So making sure that everyone has really clear, defined tasks is probably the other thing that we put in place that's really helped them a lot.
Okay, so as an attorney and a business coach and consultant, this is like all music to my ears, and I love it. And it validates that you can grow your business, you can become a multi-million dollar business, still homeschool your kids, still have freedom to do other things. And it's by using processes and procedures, by defining roles, by defining tasks, by proper delegation, not abdication of your responsibilities or the responsibilities of the company. And so I love that you've touched on that and that you said that's what's working, and it's working well because you have these processes, you've defined the roles very well. Everybody knows what's expected of them, everybody knows where to go. You have utilized the efficiency of AI and software and CRM so that it makes it more efficient, more productive, less chances of mistakes. So I love all of this that's going on in your business. And so how did you come to do that? Because I've seen a lot of businesses that are multi-million and the owners are going crazy. They're overwhelmed. They have no processes and procedures. And they tend to either stay where they are or fail. Um, with your processes and procedures, you don't seem to be overwhelmed and, oh my God, what do I do? You have delegation, you have the chain of command, like you said. Um, so how did you come about saying, oh, this is what I need to do with my business? This is what's going to work and keep me sane?
I mean, obviously, so like we used to work with you, and like you kind of brought me a lot of clarity. And I know you were working with one of our employees, and so just like a backstory of like how difficult business can be. You know, we had a shift in employment, and unfortunately, she's not here anymore. And she was like our, you know, our office manager. And so everything from bookkeeping to payroll to everything in the office, you know, kind of got put back on me. And I am a homeschooler, so I have my boys 24 hours a day. I do not have help. It's just me. My boys come with me to the office. They come with me everywhere. Besides Thursdays, my husband, thank God, takes them on Thursdays so I can do my stuff. But so my boys are with me. I have three very active children, and like let's just scale down how crazy this is and how this can really be done. I've got three boys under 10. They are extremely active. They are homeschooled. They are not like the book reading types that sit in a little circle and like just no. They're boys. And so we have a homestead. You know, we have 8 cows, I think, at this point, goats. We just sold our donkeys. I've got a full blown garden. You know, we try to produce as much food, milk, everything at home as we can. We've got chickens galore. We have a business that requires a huge amount of my time. I do, you know, QuickBooks, bookkeeping, all the payroll, the emails, the delegating the office stuff, all the things. And so when we had our shift in employment, and our office manager was not here, and you know she's amazing and she's doing great things with her life, and she needed to change the direction, and I think the company needed to change the direction too, and everything just worked out the way that God wanted it to. But it was like holy cannoli. I was here, I was home before because I was trying to be a stay-at-home mom, and it's not my thing. Being a business owner, you can't want to not work. You have to want to work. If you don't want to work, it's not the life for you. You just need to go work for somebody and just take vacations because you don't get a vacation from this, no matter if you're on vacation or not. And so I had to literally have a come to Jesus. I had to come back to work full time. I didn't really like staying at home. I love my kids. I love my house. I didn't like staying at home. It wasn't for me. And so I had to sort everything out. And my biggest, and I get no affiliated money for this, my biggest organizer is motion. If you don't have the motion out, you need to get the motion out. You need to get it for your business. And we could do a whole segment on that later, but it saved my life because what I did is I put all of my tasks that I was now responsible for. I put all of my yeah, everything. I mean, from down to milking a cow, everything is on my motion. And it actually like I had to step back because I had too much, I had more stuff on my my motion, which is like this AI generator, puts all your tasks and appointments and everything in here, and it says like, all right, here's your 24 hours, here's your work hours, and now you have all these overflowing tasks and they won't fit on your calendar. And so I sat back and I was like, oh my gosh. And I told my husband CJ, I was like, how am I going to like do this? Like I have to homeschool my boys every day for about 3 hours. I've got to, work out, I've got to cook dinner, I have to do laundry, I've got my normal tasks, my mom tasks, my farm tasks, my business tasks. Like, how can I do this? And that's when I really just took some time, like I functioned, but we took some time and we really set these procedures in place. And I'm still doing it. Like I still sit with my employees, I pull one, I'm like, okay, who wants to learn, payroll? And they'll be like, oh, I'll learn it. And I'll sit and I'll train them because payroll is still something that consumes a lot of my time. And so I've learned that I don't have to do it. I also learned that you're not going to get somebody trained the first, second, third, or fourth time that you're sending it to them. So don't expect them to do it. And when they don't do it, you get frustrated. You're like, I'm just going to take it back, because it's a constant battle. But that was really my my vision. That was my vision board. My motion, as ridiculous as it sounds, was my vision board of I had too many things that one person was responsible for, and I still probably do, but it's okay. I like the chaos. And that's when I was like, okay, we need to delegate. And then from there, and I still literally have this open. I have Chat GPT open every single day on my screen. And anytime I'm doing something new or different, like today I had to write a procedure about pulling MVR, the motor vehicle reports for employees. I don't need to be doing that. That's ridiculous. But what I did is I did it and I put it all in Chat GPT, and I have Chat GPT writing me a complete procedure manual for the clerical side of things. And so everything that I do step by step by step, I put it in there and it writes in this beautiful little manual. And it's just been going for months. And so eventually, when I get to the end of it, I'll print it all out and everybody else will have it. And then I can just say, hey, I need you to pull these MVRs. Here's how you do it step by step. And I don't have to do it anymore. So that's where the procedures was really like, after I did that, I was like, all right, I need to start training other people. And so that's what I've just been doing. I've just been deleting tasks off of my calendar that are reoccurring, and I give them to another employee and it goes on their checklist. And that's how you delegate, because there's no other way to do it that I know of anyway.
But so that's another thing that I love what you just said. You didn't just say, okay, I need this task off my plate, I'm going to give it to this person. I need this task off my plate, I'm going to give it to this person. You actually sat down, thought through all of the things that you're doing, thought through how do I make processes and procedures and make it easy for the next person to be able to do these things step by step. What can I delegate, not abdicate, but delegate the way I want it done step by step to whom? And that way I can keep my sanity and I can keep things done the way I want them done and I like them done without making everybody nuts, right? And the other thing you said was don't expect to train someone once or twice and have them know what they're doing. You have to be ongoing training. You have to be able to mentor people to get to the point of where you need them to be, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's always a point where it's like, okay, that person just does not fit that role. And it happens, but at the same time, you have to continuously train, you have to continuously mentor, you have to continuously get your employees buy-in with the company. Another nugget that you dropped in all of that as well is the fact that employees will move on, right? You will have times where someone you relied on is no longer with you. And now what do you do? And that's where you said you had that come to Jesus moment of, no, I need to make sure that I can bring someone else into that position and have those processes and procedures and checklists and manuals available to them to help them do their job properly.
Yeah. Yeah. And honestly, sometimes, I mean, it's hard when especially being like a family business, because like you kind of take stuff personal at some points. I usually don't. My husband is. He's nicer than me. But so it's hard because you're like, oh no, I want to take it personally. Like I'm not happy about this. But then business wise, it's transactional, and it sucks to say it that way, but it's a transaction. It's a business change, and you can't really do too much about it. You can't force someone to stay, so it's kind of But honestly, God had a plan for everything, and it works out the way it's supposed to work out because it does. But
Your perception, your frame of mind is so conducive to success. It's not, whoa, me, why does this happen? Why did they leave? Now I'm in a bind and I can't do this. It's okay. This is what God intended. Let's see what lesson we have out of this. Let's see what good can come out of it. And that's how you have built your company. That's how you came up with ChatGPT, using it to do those manuals, right? And so I love that you're talking about your frame of mind and you're talking about perceptions, even though you didn't say it specifically, but you are talking about, hey, look at the things and look at what lesson can you learn from it? What positive can come out of this so-called challenge?
yeah, I'm gonna be a
And so that is amazing with so many nuggets. First, how do people get a hold of you? How can they get in touch with you to use your services? And what geographic areas do you service?
Okay, so we service from pretty much it's not really Tri-County, but so we go Citrus, oh wow, Crystal River, there we go, to Gainesville and then Silver Spring side and then up to the Villages. The Villages is one of those like, because the Villages is almost damn near Orlando at this point. So like the Leesburg to Ocala side of the Villages. And then they can call our office, Google us. You can actually book online through Google. If you Google the company, you can just book directly through our scheduler, which is amazing. But 352-433-6525 is our main number.
Okay, and don't worry if you missed that, it will be in the chat and at the end. We will have all of her information for you to be able to use them. And so before I let you go, one last question. If you had one piece of advice to give to a business owner, what would it be?
I would say before you consider getting in business, understand what it is to be in business. It takes a very special person to be able to handle this, and it's a joke, but it's not a joke. But you kind of almost have to be adaptive, but emotionless, but have emotion. Be compassionate, but you can't be too nice. And you really have to be in it 100% because I mean it's a daily stress. You could wake up after a nice relaxing weekend on a Monday morning and have two people call out, and then you have a completely chaotic schedule. You can have complete blessings and you're happy for a month, or you can come into work and the phones are completely dead because snowbirds have gone back up north, and it's just a constant up and down. So I think the biggest thing I would definitely suggest is to make sure you understand what you're getting into before you get into it. But it's a
That
blessing.
is Yes, thank you, because that is great advice. Entrepreneurship and business ownership is not for everybody, and that's okay, right? It's not for the faint of heart.
No.
And it is definitely a 24/7, 365-day job. You can take vacations, but at the end of the day, it's your business, your responsibility, and you're going to have to deal with it one way or another. Thank you so much for all of the different nuggets that you have given us today. And I hope that we can have you on again so that we can delve a little bit deeper into some of those obstacles and challenges and how you've overcome them. And we will see you all at the next time.